Good morning, I'm Maddie Jansen, and this is the podcast of 17 News at Sunrise. It's everything you need to know to start your day in about 15 minutes.
Live from 17 News Studios, your local election headquarters, this is 17 News Primary 2020.
Good morning. It is Wednesday, March 4th. Good to have you with us at 5 a.m. I'm Maddie Jansen alongside Alex Fisher after a very long night.
It was a very long night. We have results coming into our newsroom from overnight. We'll get to those in just a bit. But first, we're taking a look at your forecast on this not Super Tuesday, but this glorious Wednesday. And the weather forecast is going to look beautiful out there.
Yeah, the results are in for the weather forecast of yesterday as well. We hit 74 degrees on Super Tuesday. We should be right around 67 this time of year. Our record yesterday, 84, set back in 1987. So it was a very nice day. Clear skies out there for us on this Wednesday. We're starting out at 49 degrees. No winds for you right now. And as we take a look at the day, starting in the upper 40s, 75 at noon, and by 3 o'clock we'll be right near 81. So warm afternoon expected. We're at 37. Currently in Tehachapi, a light wind out of the east at 3. We'll start out in those 30s, mid-60s by noon, and we keep you in the 60s throughout the afternoon. By 3 o'clock, that northwest wind at 7. We're going to continue to warm up here the next couple of days, then we'll be tracking a storm that could finally bring us some measurable rain. More details on that coming up in just a little bit. Alex?
All right, Kev, we'll have our fingers crossed for that forecast. All right, taking you outside for the first time this morning, and here is a look at the 99 at Airport Drive. And as you can see, things are looking pretty good on that side of town. Now, we do have one accident being reported on DiGiorgio Road near the 184, so keep that in mind. Details are limited at this time, but we will keep you updated on this if this becomes too much of an issue for you if you are going to be headed out that way. But it looks like there's just, at this point, we know that there are two cars that ran into each other, and CHP is on scene. Also, there was a hit-and-run accident this morning on the 58 near Comanche Drive, so keep that in mind as well. There are injuries with this accident, so again, we'll keep you updated if this becomes too much of an issue, but we do know that possibly up to 3 vehicles are involved in this accident. So we will keep you updated on that as well. Again, that is on the westbound lanes of the 58, just west of Comanche Drive. Other than that, it's all looking pretty good across Kern County. We'll have another check of your morning commute coming up in about 30 minutes.
Well, results came in slowly last night, but it looks like things began to pick up as ballots made their way in overnight.
We'll get to the results in 1 minute, but first, 17's Vanessa Dillon joins us with more on what happened after the polls closed. Vanessa?
That's right. Good morning, Maddie and Alex. Well, we didn't start seeing election result numbers climb until recently. The numbers we're seeing this morning include early absentee ballots along with in-person ballots. It was a long night, but the counting process wrapped up early this morning. At the elections office, they took in ballots from across the county, including from over 150 polling sites. Election volunteers boxed up the ballots, then transported them to headquarters to be counted. And from there, temp volunteers are on hand making sure every ballot is checked and verified. Well, the elections office received a lot of drop-off mail-in ballots that will not be counted until they can confirm those signatures, which could take about several days or even weeks.
And of course, they still have 30 days to verify all of these results.
Exactly.
Again, these results are unofficial until the Secretary of State makes them official. But again, remember last election, we saw the results be ratified up into that deadline, so it could take a while.
Exactly.
All right, thanks, Vanessa. Well, who were the big winners in the Democratic Party? Here's a look at the numbers across our state. Senator Sanders leads the pack, followed by former Vice President Joe Biden and Mayor Mike Bloomberg. Similar results here in Kern County, as you see. Sanders leading the Kern County results with 33% of the vote. Joe Biden leading or in second with 27%, and Michael Bloomberg with 14% of the votes.
However, the big story of the night was Joe Biden. After a whirlwind few days of picking up fresh endorsements from his former rivals, the former vice president solidified his comeback, winning 9 states according to projections and overtaking Sanders' lead in delegates. He spoke at a rally last night in Los Angeles, asking everyone to come together.
We need to bring everybody along, everybody. We want a nominee who will beat Donald Trump, but also keep Nancy Pelosi the Speaker of the House. Win back the United States Senate. If that's what you want, join us. And you want a nominee who's a Democrat, a lifelong Democrat, a proud Democrat, an Obama-Biden Democrat. Join us.
Joe Biden won in several states, including Virginia, Tennessee, Alabama, North Carolina, Oklahoma, and Massachusetts. The home state of Senator Elizabeth Warren. Mayor Pete Buttigieg and Senator Amy Klobuchar recently dropped out of the race and threw their endorsements behind Biden. Sanders picked up 4 states on Super Tuesday. This was the scene at Sanders' office here in downtown Bakersfield last night. Local supporter Riddhi Patel says local staffers were up since 6 a.m. on Election Day, going around town to make sure people got out and voted.
I think what we've been doing different than every other campaign is we care about the Central Valley. We've been here for months. Nobody else has given Central Valley the time of the day. And for somebody who's been born and raised here, it means a lot.
Patel says Sanders' campaign is working to galvanize younger voters as well as disenfranchised minorities.
And of course, being the incumbent, President Trump came away with an overwhelming majority among Republican voters in California.
Here's how the state voted: 92% for the president's re-election, with everyone else coming in 2% or less.
And here's how the results compared here in Kern County. As you see, President Trump had 95% of the vote, with Joe Walsh and Bill Well coming in with about 1% each.
And now to some local races. There were several on the ballot, including 3 supervisorial races. We begin with the 1st District, with incumbent Mick Gleason retiring next January. The Board of Supervisors will have a new local official. Here are the results so far this morning. Taking a look with Philip Peters in the lead with 52%, looking to take that seat. He ran against David Fluhart, who came in with 24%, and former Deputy Darris Stevens. But again, it looks like Peters coming away with the win. 17's Taylor Schaub is joining us in studio with the breakdown of the race. Taylor?
Good morning, Maddie and Alex. Representing parts of northwest Bakersfield, the Kern River Valley, and Ridgecrest, the 1st District seat has been held by Mick Gleason since 2012. Now Philip Peters is projected to represent the Fast region moving forward. Maddie, as you pointed out, Peters has a commanding lead over his counterparts Darris Stevens and David Fluhart. The former field representative for Mick Gleason has more than double the votes, with 149 precincts all accounted for. While still unofficial, if elected, the former high school district board member and local business owner has vowed to work closely with the oil and ag industries. David Fluhart, the cannabis farmer from the mountain community of Havilah, finished second with a surprising 24% of the vote, while Darris Stevens, the former sheriff's deputy and veteran, came in right behind him with 22% of the vote. I caught up with a confident Peters last night at his watch party in Northeast Bakersfield. He believes his work with current Supervisor Gleason will make for a smooth transition.
I've been learning the issues, building those relationships. I think it's going to be a pretty seamless transition. We're just going to keep doing what we're doing and trying to serve District 1 as soon as I get in there. I think it's going to be a pretty smooth transition.
Peters also told me even though he lives in Bakersfield, he plans to make regular trips to Ridgecrest and some of the other outer areas in the district. In studio, Taylor Schaub, 17 News.
All right, Taylor, thank you. Now the results for the 4th District supervisorial race. This was a heated battle for the seat. Incumbent David Couch ended with a comfortable lead over challenger Emilio Huerta. You can see David Couch had 56% of the vote and Emilio Huerta had 43%. The 4th District represents Delano to the north and then Arvin to the south, in parts of Bakersfield as well. Now you're taking a look at video from last night at Wickies in southwest Bakersfield, where Couch and his supporters gathered for an election party.
I've gotten to know some really awesome people, some great people up and down the district, and I'm just grateful to have gotten to know them and grateful for their support tonight, obviously. I don't want to get too optimistic yet, but obviously I'm happy where we're at.
Civil rights attorney Emilio Huerta lost to Couch, and Huerta will join us in studio later this morning to tell us more about his run and his plans for the future.
Leticia Perez will remain 5th District Supervisor after an overwhelming win over the other 4 candidates running to replace her. Perez won this morning with 57% of the vote. She has been serving on the Board of Supervisors since 2013. The 5th District represents much of South and East Bakersfield, where more than half of the registered voters are Democrats. Perez said this time her campaign went door to door answering tough questions, and she believes that's what made a difference with the results.
We'll continue the focus that we're doing on the homeless low barrier shelter rollout at the end of this month. Our MLK Community Initiative is getting attention from all over the state and country. And of course, we have our oil and gas challenges, of which I'm at the forefront. So we have never stopped working, but now we'll be able to devote all of our time.
And again, in the 5th District Supervisorial race, incumbent Leticia Perez is leading. She will reclaim that seat against her 4 challengers. And with that percentage of the vote, Perez is the official winner. There will not be a runoff in November. However, we talked with David Abbasi, the local activist, who also received the 2nd highest number of votes with 13%. He says he's not giving up serving Kern County.
I'm still going to be looking into some kind of position here within Kern government to have some type of influence to be able to bring the people's voice to Kern County.
Also running against Perez was Ben Valdez, a realtor with Miramar International, Ricardo Herrera, a trustee on the Greenfield Union School District Board, and Ronnie Cruz, sales manager at El Popular, Kern County's only Spanish newspaper.
And Bakersfield incumbent Mayor Karen Go won her race in a landslide.
She ends with 83% of the vote. Gregory Tatum and Joseph Caporelli round out the top 3 with 10% and 5% respectively.
Writing candidates Mark Hudson and Joey Harrington got 0%. Prop 13 is on track to fail, with Californians overwhelmingly voting against it. Now, you may remember the proposition would have allocated millions of dollars for schools across our state. There was some confusion that this Proposition 13 would impact the existing Prop 13, which affects property taxes. But again, here's the results here. 43% said yes in the state, and 56% said no in the state. And then here in Kern County, 31% said yes, 68% said no. Again, this proposition had to have at least 55% of the vote in order to pass, and it did not.
All right, well, still ahead this morning, the future of pot in Kern County.
The results from the 2 measures that would allow marijuana to be sold here in Kern County. The results on measures D and E coming up later this morning.
Primary 2020 from your local election headquarters, 17 News.
Now to cannabis in Kern County, a constant subject of controversy during the local elections.
Voters rejected 2 measures that aim to legalize medicinal marijuana sales in Kern County. Let's first take a look at Measure D. It would have allowed pot shops established before 2018 to reopen. 60% voted no, while 39% voted yes on this one. Measure E did not fare any better on the ballot. 58% voted no, while nearly 42% voted yes. 17's Karen Waugh has been tracking the votes and has a breakdown for us.
Our Golden Empire is one of a few counties in California where you can't buy or sell marijuana, recreational or medicinal. Now, 2 measures on the ballot hope to legalize at least medicinal.
It was created to help our veterans and our patients who are suffering right now because they're experiencing a ban.
Measures D and E are almost identical. Each would allow medical marijuana dispensaries to operate in Kern County with the hope of bringing in much needed revenue.
It will create the jobs, local jobs. It will give the law enforcement the tax revenue to benefit from.
Measure E is backed by Kern County, while Measure D is backed by a private local group, the Central Valley Cannabis Association, or CVCA. Despite the similarities, many supporters of Measure D do not support the county's Measure E.
This is the measure that the Board of Supervisors came up with. I feel it is a conflict of interest, and I've always felt that way because they originally banned cannabis.
Unlike the county, which has rarely mentioned or advertised Measure E, billboards and signs for Measure D have been seen all across town.
We're hoping for a win.
Some other differences. Measure D would only allow pot shops established before 2018 to reopen, while Measure E would allow new shops to open. Measure D would tax dispensaries 3.75%, while Measure E would tax them slightly less, 3.5%. The CVCA believes the true motive behind the county's Measure E is to split the vote, so both measures fail.
It's going to be split because the voters are misinformed. They don't know exactly which one will benefit Kern County. Which one is going to produce the jobs? Which one is going to give the tax revenue to fund the sheriff's department, the schools, the drug treatment centers?
That was Karen Waugh reporting. 3 bond measures for local schools had mixed results last night. Let's first take a look at Measure A, the Wasco Union High School District. It would authorize $38 million in bonds for a new gym and upgrades to the existing one. Now, because of this measure, it needed 55% in order to pass, but right now it is going to be defeated. A similar result for Measure C, a $16 million bond measure for the Wasco Union School District.
But it was a different story for McFarland's Measure B. Right now, that one is passing with 58% of the vote. It's a $30 million bond for the McFarland Unified School District to pay for badly needed renovations on campuses.
It is 5:26 now, and one of the deadliest tornadoes in history hit Nashville yesterday.
This morning, a state of emergency has been declared. What rescue crews are doing as they desperately search for survivors.
KGET Business Watch is brought to you by Grapevine MSP Technology Services, the Valley's leading IT service provider.
Welcome back in your 17 Business Watch. As the coronavirus continues to spread, supermarket shelves are being emptied. Shoppers across Australia have bought out aisles of toilet paper, hand sanitizer, and masks. Some supermarket chains place strict limitations on how many packs of toilet paper you can buy. Australia now has 44 cases of the coronavirus, 4 of them involving people who caught the disease despite not having left the country recently. With coronavirus impacting so many events, what happens if the disease impacts the Olympic Games this summer? NBC says it is covered. Comcast CEO Brian Roberts says they've insured the games if they are canceled. But he also says he does not believe the games will be canceled or delayed. The network has spent billions of dollars obtaining the rights to air the games over the next decade. The games are scheduled to take place July 24th through August 9th in Tokyo, and you can watch them only on TV 17.
Thanks, Alex. Still ahead in our next half hour on Sunrise. Could there be a change in leadership in the 21st District? David Valadao looks to get his seat back in Congress as incumbent TJ Cox seeks re-election. The results coming up.